Wait, that's ice cream in 2 slices of bread. You walk fast. No. Did you just speak another language? You know what, I'm really hungry. It's a very strange concept. But hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. If you are new here, my name is Georgia and I have been living in Singapore for 5 years now, and I create content all about my life here in Singapore from a foreigner's perspective. So if you guys want to see more of me, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. You can also find me on Instagram at Vintage Vision if you want to go give me a follow over there. So in today's video we are going to be talking about some light-hearted strange things that Singaporeans do that most foreigners don't really understand. There was definitely a few things when I first moved here that I couldn't wrap my head around for quite a while. Let's talk about things that Singaporeans do. Okay, the first thing is Singaporeans love to end sentences with the word one, and I remember hearing this a lot for the first time, especially when I started working in Singapore, which was very strange to me. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that they kept saying one at the end of things, but I realised it must be some kind of emphasis in the same way that they use la, le, law. One is almost like another emphasis. Cannot like that one. I still don't know how this came about. I think it was some kind of translation error from Mandarin. If any of you guys know the history behind the reason that Singaporeans use the word one at the end of sentences, please do explain to me, because I'm always interested to learn. Just leave a comment below. But yeah, if you hear Singaporeans often say one at the end of sentences, just know it's like an emphasis of what they're saying, but also very confusing. Second one is because there is a multitude of languages and dialects used in Singapore, from Mandarin, Hokkien, Tamil, Malay. Singaporeans often switch between using different words from different languages in the same sentence. So often you'll find, because of the ethnic mix and the diversity, I mean, Singlish is a great example of that, in that there's lots of Hokkien words and Malay words mixed together. But it's really interesting, but you often find if you actually listen to Singaporeans have a conversation, that they could be speaking English and then 1 minute it switches to Singlish and then Mandarin, and then they could use like a Malay word. So that's something that definitely confused me at first, because when I was listening and thought I was following along to a conversation, all of a sudden I'd be like, wait, did you just speak another language, or what does that word mean? So yeah, definitely interesting. Another one is the word boss. Being called boss is a very common thing in Singapore. It's definitely something that I picked up when I started working in Singapore. I noticed that all my colleagues would refer to me as boss, or yeah, my boss would call me boss. I would call my boss boss. If there's any male that I speak to in Singapore now, I'll often just call them boss, even if it's not in the workplace. Like, I don't know, it's really strange. Like my photographer, I call him boss. Just something that you start to pick up and you start to call everyone boss. I don't know where that came from, again, if any of you guys can explain. So you don't necessarily have to be a boss to be called boss. It's more just like, do you know what I would equate it to is like calling someone mate. I feel like it's almost like a sign of respect. So yeah, I call everyone boss now. I don't know why. Let me know if you guys have the same habit. I definitely noticed when I first moved here, because I used to work in London and commute into London. London is very, very fast paced. So if you're commuting in London, you walk 100 miles an hour. Like, it's just in you. You walk fast everywhere. So I'm already naturally a fast walker. So when I moved here, I just couldn't believe how slowly locals walk. Like, they are in absolutely no rush. And it's really strange, because I have a lot of people say, Singapore's really fast paced, don't you think? And I'm like, no. Maybe like economically, okay, but not when it comes to walking. I feel like Singaporeans take their sweet time. There's no rush for them, whereas I'm naturally a fast walker, so I'm always overtaking people. But I don't really understand how you can walk so slowly, because of the fact that it's also so hot and humid here. So I want to walk quickly because I am so hot and I want to get to my destination rather than just like sweat it out out in the sun. So leave a comment down below. Do you guys walk fast or do you walk slow? I'd be really interested to know, because I will forever be a fast walker. Okay, another very bizarre thing about Singapore is that they like to eat ice cream in bread. And when I first saw this, I was like, wait, that's ice cream in 2 slices of bread. And they'll sell it like on the side of the road. and I think it costs about $1. It's just ice cream, like a slab of ice cream in between 2 slices of bread. It's a very strange concept, but then I was thinking about the strange things that we do back in the UK. So sandwiches are a big deal, like sandwich culture is huge in the UK, and a very popular type of sandwich is a crisp sandwich. So crisps as in chips, and you just butter the bread, you put crisps in the sandwich, and you just eat it. So then I was thinking, well, crisp sandwiches are really weird as well, so maybe ice cream sandwich isn't that strange. I think it's just because an ice cream and 2 wafers would make sense, but I'd never seen literal like 2 slices of bread and a slab of ice cream. So let me know, guys, do you like ice cream sandwiches? Another strange thing is that can is almost like a question and an answer. So the word can is used everywhere. The power of the word can. So instead of saying yes or replying to people yes, you would say can. So I never say like yes anymore, I always say can. So not only does it mean yes, but it also means like can you. So if you said meet tomorrow, can, it means can we meet tomorrow. So it's like the can is put at the end of the word, and then I can reply saying can. So that means yes. I would love to know how can came about in Singapore as well. I would love to know how it began to be used that way. Again, maybe it was a translation thing. Do let me know in the comments below, please, if you know, because I would love to know the answer. Yes, the power of can in Singapore. Okay, so another kind of bizarre thing in Singapore is, I guess, like the culture of complaining, publicly shaming people, I suppose. It actually happened to me, unfortunately. I've experienced this firsthand in Singapore, and there's like this thing called stomp. So the world of stomp is like, you better be careful in public because anyone can be filming you or taking a photo of you, and they will like publicly shame you online, and it can be blown up. But I think it is well known that Singaporeans love to complain. But saying that, Brits love to complain as well. So we're not too dissimilar in that sense. Like, I think we are both like complaining nations. Okay, another thing is supper culture. Supper culture in the UK just wouldn't work because there's really no place that you can go get food in the middle of the night. So in Singapore, there's lots of places like hawker centres and lots of dim sum places that are open 24 hours a day. So if you want supper at 3 AM, you can literally go get supper. It's funny because I've never done it actually. I've only done it once when I went to Sweden, and I think it was like 2 AM, and we went there after a night out, and I was like, this is amazing. I love Sweden so much. That's the only time I've had supper, but I would never be like up at 1 AM, just be like, you know what, I'm really hungry, I'm gonna go get some supper. So I find that whole culture really interesting in Singapore. It's not so much that it's bizarre, but it's just that it's more accessible for people to go eat in the middle of the night. And my last point is living with parents. Now, if you don't know already, it's incredibly common. It's pretty much the norm for Singaporeans to live with their parents until they get married, and then they finally move into their own home with their significant other. You could meet people in their 20s and 30s who aren't married and they are still living at home with their parents. This was very strange for me at first to wrap my head around, because at work my bosses would still live with their parents. I don't see many young 20-somethings moving out into their own apartment independently. Number one, because it's so expensive, and number two, it's just, why do that when you can stay at home with your parents and get home cooked meals? Yeah, I think it's a win. So it's not something that is very common in the Western world. You know, back home, be encouraged to move out maybe as soon as you turn 18, although saying that, a lot of people in their early 20s are still living at home with parents now because it is getting so expensive for people to move out independently. So there's no right or wrong. I think it's absolutely fine and normal in Asian culture. It's just that something that when I first moved here, I was like, oh, that's not something I've heard before. But yeah, living with parents, very, very common in Singapore. All right, guys, that is pretty much my list today. I hope you enjoyed this video and hearing what I had to say. Do be sure to leave a comment below, as always, with your thoughts, and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it really helps me out. And guess what? We are almost reaching 100,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hopefully we can reach 100,000 soon, which is so exciting. Thank you guys to everyone that's stuck around and supported me. It means so much to me. Hope you all have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.